I look like I'm 12 today.
We are live. We are live. We are live. Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of Real G Talk. Today, guys, it is going to be a phenomenal show. I have, as you can see to my right, I have my beautiful wife, Khadijah Williams, and she'll be with me today because we have some amazing guests. Now, first and foremostly, guys, y'all know what it is when we talk about Real G Talk. It's just like this. Listen, Real G Talk. This webcast is about real G's talking about motivation, elevation, coming from humble beginnings and abundance never ending. So let's get it, guys. Let's go right into it. Let's go talk about it right now. This amazing couple that I'm about to bring onto the stage so you guys can hear about their story. They are multiple six-figure earners in our company of Total Life Changes. Let me put that out there. I'm gonna go ahead and shout us out, TLC, because that's what I do, right? But also, guys, what I want you to understand is that they are authors. This book here is a real easy read, but it's straight to the point. It is like the guide to a healthy and long-lasting marriage. And it's not that long. It's like 36 pages, right, baby? Mm-hmm. Like 36 pages. It's not that long. These two people, they have grown to become our friends.
Yes.
Like my sister and brother, I call them, they way in Atlanta. And even though they're Atlanta Falcons fans and, Atlanta Hawks fans, and they beat us in the playoffs and, and then the Hawks won the World Series. Yeah, I'm hating on your sports teams right now, Jay. Right. But in either way, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just so happy and elated that we're able to bring up and let you guys hear from this amazing couple out of Atlanta, Georgia, the authors of 7 Keys to Love and Marriage, How to Sustain It and Make It Work. Come on up here, Jay and Sonia Atchison.
Hey, good evening. How you guys doing?
Well, great evening, our amazing friends out there in Philly. We got to throw it back up to you guys because we're very, very honored that you guys have allowed us to come on your platform of your new show, Real G. And you guys are some real G's. Hey, I got to give it to you.
That's right.
Guys, they said some great things about us, but let me tell you something, guys. Listen, we have built a strong friendship family in our business that we all are a part of. Guys, there are multiple six-figure income earners as well. They didn't tell you that. They're actually, serial entrepreneurs. So thank you guys so much for allowing us to come on your platform, on your show tonight, The Real G.
So you're so welcome. So here on Real G Talk, what we like to do, Sonia, we like to keep it all the way gutter. We keep it all the way honest, right? And I read this book, and my wife read the book, and some things in the book that I'm gonna talk about, I want to ask you about later. But right now, our first segment is what I want to do is I want each of you to give me a golden nugget from your book. Now, you guys know that I do nuggets for the day, Real G Talk, on my Instagram. But whenever I do my show, I always have the guests give me a golden nugget, or give our audience a golden nugget, something that they can take with them.
Okay. Well,
I'll let Sonia go first.
Okay. Well, one golden nugget that I would actually like to share is, and I'm talking to the single ladies. One of the keys is the dating key. And from that key, the golden nugget I would like to share is, always be true to who you are. Don't be so thirsty. When you meet a man and a man can tell that you are super thirsty, you is probably not the one. You acted as though you're the wife, you're doing wife things when he never ever put a ring on your finger, never told you that he was even gonna get married. And so that nugget I would like to share with those ladies out there that are single. And just be true to who you are, and then also, be a lady first.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great nugget. Mm-hmm. How about you, Jay? Give me a golden nugget, and then we're gonna.
Well, I like to start off like we all head things up, like me and you do, my brother, and that's the God key. And the reason I would like to speak about the God key, because God is the head over our household. And I love that when Sonia and I, when we actually put that down as one of the keys. It's like how when you put God in anything, no matter what the situation is, especially when it's your marriage, I love the fact that he's working on me, see, because I can't change my wife. You can't get into a relationship thinking you're going to change a person. So I love the fact that God changed me to where it made us compatible while he was changing her also. Because when you go off into a marriage, any type relationship, anything that you do, if you don't put God first, we mess things up. Feelings get in the way. We act as if like people pointing the finger at you. So when we wrote that, when it comes to the God key, when God is head over everything, it just all works out because God put us together. We're soulmates and everything works. I just love it. Even in the tough time, you get together, we pray together, you stay together. And so that's what, that's a very important key to mine.
So listen, those two golden nuggets are absolutely amazing. Now we're gonna get into this interview portion because I got some questions, right? I got some questions. I got some stuff that I want to talk about, and then I'm gonna let you guys in on something, and I'm gonna let the world in on something. So Jay and Sonia, myself and Khadijah have a lot of similarities. Now, mind you, Jay and Sonia may be a little bit older than we are, but I believe that we all come from the same school of thought when it concerns marriage, right? One of the key things for my wife and I, when we first got together, was that honesty piece, right? That honesty key. Now,
yep.
Here's the issue with me. Sometimes I'm a little bit too freaking honest.
Me too.
Right? Now I'm just being honest. I'm keeping it real. We keep it on here, right? We're both of us, we have contrasting personalities because she's all right. So you got to understand where we come from. I'm from North Philadelphia, from the streets of North Philadelphia, and I was that guy all my life. Tried to talk to her when she was 16. She never gave me no rap, right? I ride around in a Volvo in 1989 and the 1990 Volvo, big chains on and this and that and third. I thought I was that guy, but she would never talk to me when she was 16.
Not at all.
Right? So I had always known her, but not necessarily known her. She wouldn't give me no rap. So,
thought you knew me.
I thought I knew her, right? So she wouldn't give me no rap back then. And kind of glad she did. She probably would have just been another baby mama, right? At that time, because I wasn't ready for what we have now. But when I did finally meet her, again, I was fresh out of the penitentiary.
Yes.
I was fresh out of the penitentiary, and I was working at a meat store, and she used to come in the meat store all the time. And her and her girlfriend used to come to the meat store. Her sister used to come to the meat store, and yeah, you can know when a woman checking you out, right?
That's right. Yes, you do.
Wow, right, Jay?
That's right, bro.
Real G talk.
Yeah, real G.
I seen her checking me out a couple of times, and I kept saying, "Okay, shorty, like stop playing and just give me your number." That was exact words was to her, right? Stop playing and give me your number. And she said that she already had it written down.
I sure did.
She already had her number written down. So I want to get a number, and a week into us dating, it was something odd because I had to take her out because I got paid on a Tuesday. So I had to take her out on a Wednesday when I got paid, right? For the meat store, right? So, a couple weeks into us dating, I said these exact words for her. Now, don't feel no type of way about what I'm about to say. I said, listen, I'm gonna let you know from the jump street, I ain't shit. We're gonna date for about 90 days, and then I'm gonna keep it moving. Because when I came home from jail, I had a 90-day rule.
Yeah.
I had a 90-day rule. Like this gonna be 90 days. I'm not doing nothing serious. This is what we're gonna do for 90 days. She looked at me and said, yeah, okay.
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 I still say the same thing. You excellent.
Yeah, she said, yeah, okay.
Yes,
right? So I told her from the beginning that I wasn't shit. Right? But that was me admitting that I needed to work on myself.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, now, when I think about it now, when I think about it then, it was just crass and rude and just being me being an asshole because that's what it was, right?
Because you was one.
Yeah, yes, I was. I was one. We got married when I was in my mid-20s. You follow what I'm saying? So I was, and you know, a guy come from the streets and thought he was that guy, and you know, man, I had this air about me. But 9 months later, we was married. I'm gonna just cut to the chase. But here's where I want to ask a question, Jay. This question gonna be for you.
Okay.
Say something, right? So after that, before that 9 months, right? This actually a question for both of you guys. Because I read the book, but I want you guys to tell.
5 months.
Oh, yeah, I proposed in 5. What?
They was married in 5 months, right?
They was married in 5 months, right?
Yep.
After that 5 months, or before that 5 months, on your 4th month when you asked her to marry you, right? At what point did you know, and how did you know, Jay, that she was the one, Sonia, that he was the one? So at what point did you guys know this is who I'm meant to be with?
Yeah, that's an easy one there, because for myself, the first thing I started noticing was I started changing things. Started feeling a little guilty if I'm sitting there, we dating, my phone ring. Because you know, sometimes you had those little books. I had a lot of friends back then, bro. I was single. I had my own business. I had my own house. I was making my money. So I was single. When we met, I had a lot of friends that I can grab somebody and just hang out. You know,
Friends with benefits.
Yeah, friends with benefits, you know. I had a lot of ladies. I say friends, but since we keeping it real, just had a lot of ladies back then. And nothing was serious. I was about like I wasn't serious with any of them. And the first thing that triggered me was, like we said in the book, you know, for the listeners out there, I did say this, I kept it real too, because after a few dates, you know, back then, you know, you had the Sky page, you had the cell phone, I had everything, bro. I had all the devices, and I can be with her, they buzzing, they calling me, and I just got tired of it, you know, trying to play it off. And I just said, hey, I went over to her house maybe like the 4th date, and I said, hey, I just been meaning to mention something to you. I hadn't even got in the door good. I hadn't even got inside the house good. And I said, hey, I've been meaning to mention to you, you know, if you ever see me out, you know, and I'm hanging out, I'm in the mall, I'm eating, we run into each other, you know, don't run up all on me like we married or nothing like that. You know, just holler at me, you know, and I get with you when I get a chance. And boy, what I do that for? That was, I mean, this is God's honest truth. I said that because I was used to saying that to anybody. And the other ladies, you know, they didn't care. You know, they were just happy to hang out and just be with somebody. Like Sonia called them thirsty. They thirsty. So I knew they wasn't the one. So I'm just hanging out. So, but when I did that, she put me in my place, and it made me mad. You know, I was mad for a while there. You know, I'm like, who she thinks she talking to? You know, because I was a player. You know, I mean, I got everything. I figured I had it going on about like you did, Cordell. And but when she put me in my place, I lived about 55 miles away. That whole ride going home, man, I'm talking to myself, man, who you think she talking to? Nobody else said nothing crazy like that to me. You know, man, please forget her. And boy, by the time I got home, I was like, yeah, so you still up? You know?
Yeah.
And Cordell and Khadijah, that's when it started. That's when I noticed it was a shift in my mindset. And as we started dating, I thought to myself, well, wow, okay, she's got it going on, had a good corporate job. She had her own house. She wasn't dependent on nobody. She had her boys that was well-groomed and they was mannerable, you know, some high school guys, and she's doing this on her own. I'm like, man, boy, she's really handling her business. I never met anybody like this before. And so as time went on, brother, as a month went by, we started dating. She was already doing a business. She was an entrepreneur. She actually introduced me into entrepreneurship, being that I was an entrepreneur, but I owned some 18-wheelers. But she was on that network marketing side. And then I just started going along with her to help out because I wanted to be with her because she was always gone doing something. So after that, I started saying, man, I really like her. You know, I really do. And that's when I started getting rid of these phone numbers, start ignoring phone calls. And then that one day, I'll never forget the day, Cordell, we was in New Orleans. I asked her if she would go to me to one of the Falcons and the New Orleans Saints game.
Yep.
And I done fell for it then, but she just didn't know it. And at that time, we was about 3.5 months in.
Yep.
We was about 3.5 months into the relationship. And you can tell because I can just tell, you can just feel that.
It was actually, we started dating September the 7th, the New Orleans Saints and the Atlanta Falcons game in New Orleans was October the 19th.
So at that point, it like fast forward, you can just feel that warmth. You know how you can just feel that vibe within inside your spirit, bro. I mean, it's hard to explain, but I just felt something there. And so when we went down there, I'll never forget, we stood there and we was at our hotel. And I just looked at her and I said, boy, you know what? And she said, what, Jay? And I said, man, I love you. I really love you. You're all right with me. You're a good woman. And from that day forward, my life has never been the same. And that's the day I let her know that, hey, I really love you. And that's when I cut everybody else out of my life. And that's been over 20 years now.
Wow. So
Wow.
That's amazing. I just want to key in on a couple of things that you said, Jay, is that you said it's a feeling, right? Now, this is coming from a man that never wanted to get married, because guess what? Just like Sonia talked about in the book, right? Like you talked about in the book, I had a lot of baggage from a past relationship. So imagine this. So I'm 17 years old. I'm in a relationship with a woman that was 21, and I'm in a relationship with her for 6 years, and she did me dirty, right? So she did me dirty. So now when my mind is like, I don't trust women. You follow what I'm saying? So I don't trust women, right? So that's why I had the 90-day rule. That's why I was like that. And my wife, and she also had, some things that have went on in past relationships.
Horrible things.
Horrible things going on in past relationships. So, and I was a person that never wanted to be married. You follow what I'm saying? Like, I never wanted to be married. I saw marriages all around me. They look good from the outside, but on the inside, it was a whole lot of things going on.
Yeah,
we know that. Yep.
I never wanted to be married. So Jay, I really felt that when you said, "Hey, that you get that certain feeling." Like, that's how I knew.
Yep.
When I felt like, oh man, I got to talk to her this day. Now I understand it sounds mushy, but it's like I got to talk to her today, or you know what I mean, or she ain't call me. She ain't call my cell phone. She ain't my pager.
We had pagers back then.
She ain't call my pager.
No phone.
Yeah, I ain't no phone then. You know what I mean? And then another thing was that she got me with me when I was broke.
Yep.
I was straight home from doing 5 years upstate, and I was working at a meat store making like $9 an hour. I didn't have any freaking money. You follow what I'm saying? So it's like, like she really showed me something. She was really patient, and she showed me something. So it's like, man, why not? Why not? You know what I mean? Why not? Like, what else is out here that I'm gonna find?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, cut you off. So go ahead, Sonia. Now you give me, how did you know Jay was the one?
How I knew Jay was the one. Actually, because of the way Jay treated me, and then the way that I have 2 boys, and the way he treated my sons. And anybody can treat you well, but I knew that it was authentic. I knew that he wasn't just trying to this real G talk, right?
Yeah.
I knew that he wasn't just trying to sleep with me. And so he just the way that he treated me, because I was that person who, I would hear my friends and stuff say, oh, they boyfriends, they get their hair done for them every week. They do this, they do that. Honestly, when Jay and I was dating, Jay never paid my mortgage, because I had a house, my own house at that time. He had his own house when we were staying. He never paid no mortgage of mine, none of that kind of stuff. And I didn't want him to do nothing like that. He had his, because honestly, I was handling my own bills. He was handling his own bills. And he, I had never honestly been treated the way he was treating me. Like, Jay would always do surprises. Like, one time we was to meet, but he was taking me out to dinner at Papa Do's. And when I got to Papa Do's, and I couldn't figure out, well, how did he pull this off? How do people in there, because it's always packed. And so we get to Papa Do's, and the waiter come to the table, and she said, "Are you Sonia?" I'm like, "Got all these people in here." I'm like, yeah. And she said, okay. So he had done got there, I guess, an hour or so before me, had this gift from me, had the waiter them to come to the table. This was for no occasion. It wasn't my birthday. It wasn't no holiday, none of that. And he would always do stuff like that. Like even when we went to New Orleans Saints and the Falcons game, you know, he was surprised and he said, okay, what do you got going on this weekend? You know, and I said, okay, I'm free this weekend because I was doing a network marketing business. So he would have to see what my weekends look like. Then he surprised me and he bought us floor seats to the Falcons and the Saints game. And honestly, at that time, really, I was a Saints fan because I'm from Louisiana. He the one converted me. And so to be a Falcons fan. And so and my family was like, wow, how did he do that? But at any rate, really how I knew Jay was the one. Jay never wavered on how he treated me. Jay, well, except for, you know, what he said that time. And but he always treated me, he even to this day, for us to chivalry, he would always open my door when we was going out somewhere. He still does this to this day. You know, he would come around the other side of the car, you know, open my door, you know, he just always, and so the feeling. And so I knew, and that's why Jay and I didn't have to date a year, 2 years, 3 years, you know, to know that, okay, he's the one who I want to be, you know, my husband, because I honestly had wrote some things down, 23 things to be exact. If I was to ever get married again, this is what I want in a husband. And I had some non-negotiables and I had some that was negotiable. And one of the things that I wrote was, you know, I really didn't want nobody who I was going to have to deal with baby mama drama. Guess what? We had baby mama drama to the 10th power. But I had to look and say, okay, well, everything else that I would like in a husband, you know, he have all of that. We can get past this baby mama drama stuff that we honestly, we did deal with that. So that's how I knew that Jay was the one. That's why I immediately said, yeah. But one thing I do want to add, the night that Jay asked me to marry him was on Valentine's night. Yeah. Jay used to be an over-the-road truck driver when I met him. Drove all over the world. I mean, not over the world, you know, all over the states, all 40, all states in the United States, he drove. And so I had never in my life dated a truck driver. And so I wasn't used to that type of life. And so I'm thinking in my mind, a 9 to 5, because I come from corporate America. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, if you get off at 5 o'clock, you know, by 5:30, you should be home. I wasn't used to the trucking world. I didn't know that, you know, the lows and this and that. And so Valentine's Day, Jay gets to my house about 11:30 at night because he drove all the way trying to get from Texas, you know, over 1,000 miles trying to get to my house. By that time, I'm 38 hot. You know, it is Valentine's Day. You get here this time of night, ain't gonna say, well, everything closed. You want to go to Taco Bell or Waffle House? No, I don't want no Taco Bell or no Waffle House for Valentine's Day. So I'm mad, right? Had no idea he had a ring. Had no idea that he was gonna propose. And I'm pouting. I'm mad. I'm just very upset. I was already done put on my little cute red outfit thinking he was gonna take me somewhere out to eat that night. By the time it was getting later, I done changed clothes, put my flannel pajamas on, and I was livid. And so when he kept telling me to come downstairs, and I'm walking down the stairs, and I get to like almost to the bottom stair. I still got it to this day. Like a human-sized card. You know, like they sell them trucks up, the big cards. It was a big Valentine's Day card, and he dropped on one knee. And that's when he asked me. But I was mad before because look what time it was, and I was ready to go get something to eat. All my friends done went out for Valentine's Day, and I done bragged about how good my boyfriend is, not knowing he was going to propose. You right?
Boy, she was speechless. Boy, that took her back, Cordell. When I did that, she didn't know what to say.
Right.
Yeah, boy. Khadijah, you should have saw her, young lady. Boy, that was it.
So one of the things you said, and I just want to, and then I'm gonna divert to my missus, right? This list, right? The list you have.
Mm-hmm.
Now
I still got it.
You still got the list. Now here's what she still has. That's what I say. Some of the things so similar. She still has the rose petals from the first rose I ever bought her.
I do too.
Yeah. That's it. See, that's what I'm saying. Like it's so many things that's so similar, right? And the list, I can't say the list is similar. I don't know if she had a list. I don't remember her having a list. But I hear women right now today.
My thing was that I wanted a family. Like I wanted to have a family and a father for my son. That was my thing. Like my son's father is incarcerated still to this day. Actually he comes home I don't know that.
Hey, April.
Yeah, he comes home late April. So my son was 2 when his father went to prison.
Wow.
So I wanted to have a man in the house for my son and a father for my son. So that was one of my main things. Yeah, so that was like one of my things. My list.
Yeah, and for me, and I noticed that in the book also. You guys talk about the blended family, talk about your sons, and you wanted your sons to be respected. And for me being in a family that had a stepfather, I'm going to use the term stepfather, right? But in a sense, really can't use the term, but my stepfather had been my mom since I was 2 years old. So I know that role pretty well, what not to do and what to do, right? And dealing with a single mom, when I first got greeted at the door, he was like, "This the man from the meat store."
Yes.
It's the man from the meat store. So you know what I mean. But my bond, me and Khadijah already had a bond, but my concentration then went to building a bond with my son. Right, really building a bond. With my son. So I had a daughter. Our kids are close to age. They're actually born in the same month. So I had a daughter that was 30, that's 31 now, or 32.
No, she's 32.
32. My son is 31. So
and there, yeah.
So we had children that were close together.
So now my son had a sibling.
Yeah, so now
he has no natural siblings like that.
Exactly.
So now we have our own little blended family, and me building that bond with him was really important, because I know the ills of what's out there for a young black man, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So for me to start to build that bond, and don't get me wrong, I made a lot of mistakes along that way in these 22 years that we've been married, and I made a lot of mistakes along that way. But let me get back to that list, right? And now I'm gonna say this is real G talk, so I'm gonna keep it all the way gangster with y'all, right? I tell people, like, I got single women friends that, like, co-workers and things like that, and they start to read me their list, right? They start, this is what I want in a man. He wants the, I want him, and I'm looking. I'm listening, and I'm like, that's what you want? He don't exist. He don't exist. Like, he's perfect. Yeah. No, there's no perfect man. Like, you want to. They're asking for a perfect man, right?
Can I speak to the list? Speak to the list though, because if I was single, when me and Cordell was broke up, let's talk about this. Cordell and I were broke up. We were broken up for 18 months, right? And Cordell and I are married through the state of Pennsylvania, but we also are married within our religion. Okay, so within our religion, if you get divorced within our religion, you can get married again. Okay, so we got divorced within our religion, and so I was thinking about getting married within my religion, and I had a list, and my list was that you had to have money, you had to be able to give me what I wanted. I was not patient with anybody. I wasn't going to be patient with nobody. I had a list. You had to kind of be perfect. So you couldn't have you couldn't have no little kids. You couldn't have this, you couldn't have that. You couldn't be abusive. You couldn't have had a jail record. Like, I've been there before. Like I told you, I have a son. My son's father been incarcerated since he was 2. Cordell, I met Cordell. He had just came from being incarcerated and was incarcerated several times while we were together. So I had a list. And if I was single now, I probably would have a list. Yeah. Because I'm older and I don't want to be bothered. Like, I don't want to be bothered. Maybe you will, but some I say that. So I understand the list.
I understand the list too, but sometimes I just think some of the things on the list are a little far-fetched and not realistic. I'm not really looking.
Yeah. I told you like a month ago, I said, me and you didn't work out this time, right? When we got back together, almost 7 years ago, we got back together 7 years ago. If we didn't work out, I probably would have just been single.
Because I said the same thing too.
It's nothing out here.
Yeah.
April said the list has to be realistic. Right. So I got people over here on Instagram. Right. The list has to be realistic. And when I looked at your list, your things, even your non-negotiables guess what? Your non-negotiables was realistic. You follow what I'm saying? Like, you wasn't asking for a man that had us, or he had to make 6 figures. He has to drive this. And
I had a list.
Those things. Now,
I had a list.
That in itself is a whole nother conversation, probably a whole nother show when we got to that point. When I knew that she was, you know, planning to remarry. It was a level of contention there, but I'm gonna say this, and I want you guys to weigh in on this, right? At a certain point in time, with me and my wife, with all my ambiguities and all the things that I had going on, right? All the things that I was immature too. We were both immature. We both had some ambiguities, but on the most part, like I'm like I said, I'm brutally honest, so I take my portion of what I needed to take care of. Just me. A lot of stuff was me, right? But in the same token, what I saw from her list, I didn't even know what her list was, but when I had a conversation with her, it just didn't sound like the same person that I was married to, right? Because you know, during the course, before we broke up, I think we was together 15 years. We were together over 15 years before we broke up, right? And we took that 18-month period off. But what I found, Jay and Sonia, was that it was too much of us and not enough of Khadijah and Cordell. Like it was like we had our goals and our things that we set together, but it was too much. Like I'm put like this, we lost our individuality. Right. And what we found was that when we separated for that 18 months, was that I had to get my swagger back. She had to get her swagger back. And then we had to come back. And to be honest with you, I'm going to be totally honest with you. Had that not happened, we probably wouldn't be sitting here still married today.
Oh, most definitely.
Because what happened was when we came back together, things was a whole lot different. Both of our mindsets were different, and both of us had matured some, and both of us had been out there in the world and seen what it was like dating. And we're like, oh, what this crap?
I wasn't dating.
You wasn't dating.
All
right. That was me. That was it. What you got that. I'm gonna plead the fifth. Not dating. So see, in our religion, we don't date.
I wasn't potting around. That may have been you, but
so don't laugh for her.
You could not be bothered.
Sorry, don't laugh for her. She ain't funny.
I was not potting around. My mother calls it not potting around.
Oh boy, so don't pull me in on that one.
I wasn't potting around, Cordell. So.
Right. So I was a single man. I'm gonna just leave it at that. I'm gonna just say that I was a single man at that particular time, and I'm gonna just leave it at that.
But you was a single man who wouldn't let me go to the state of Pennsylvania.
Don't lie like that. Don't lie to these people like that. That's not what happened. Well, see, this real G talk, and we keep it all the way real.
Yeah, keep it real.
So what happened was,
They see a friend Nashi, who's always a special guest.
My special guest. My friend Nashi told her that, you know, he out there running around the streets and it's dangerous out there. He back doing the things he used to do, messing with people. Like anything can happen. Don't divorce him from the state, because you still need to handle his affairs. So she took the advice of one of my coaches. It was always
something that came about when I was about to go see the lawyer. I'm be honest with you.
It was also
the car broke. I got stuck at work. I had numerous appointments with this lawyer. Numerous things. And every time I was supposed to go sit with a divorce lawyer, something happened. It wasn't meant to be.
No, it wasn't meant to be. That's right.
I had my money. Trust me, I had the money. I'm like, okay.
What's meant to be?
Nope.
But let me make this perfectly clear. And I'm not saying this to be arrogant, but I gave her a phone call. I said, hey, if you sit down with this person, I said, go ahead and bring me the papers so I can sign them. But she never had the papers. She's always fronting like she had the papers. I said, okay, well, bring me the papers so I can sign them. You see, I'm still sitting here, right, Jay?
Big games, huh?
Yeah, don't do that.
Games we play, huh?
Don't do that. Bring me the paper. Don't play with me like that, because that's not who we are, right? So,
oh, boy.
So now, with that being said, go ahead.
So I want to speak to something that's in the book, right?
Yeah.
I can't say this is one of the keys, but I do get the idea that you all kept people out of your marital business.
There you go. That's what I want to go.
Marital business.
Let's talk about that.
Amen.
Yeah, give us some keys to keep people out your business, out of what's going on.
Let me start on that. Go back to I'm gonna start on that, going back to the beginning. Just think, keeping it real, like when we first married, like in my family, it was 4 boys. So just think, when you have boys and then you have the mom and the dad, and if they're not all that close, then the boy's gonna cling to mom. So in my family, me and my brothers, we was real close to my mom. So just think how when you have the boys, like mom help out with everything. How mom, brother, caring mom and everything helps out with a lot. I mean, everything. And it had become the norm. So once Sonia and we got together, then, so now you have to kind of like cut the chain and then start doing the things where she's supposed to play that role. And then she takes care of a lot of affairs where at one point you have to be careful, because at that point, the mom feels like she might be getting shaded, like you taking something away from her. I'm telling you, this real talk, how, those spirits, like you taking a part of her. Now you the new kid on the block, and that caused some friction. When we say keep people out your business, I might share, just not go telling our business or nothing like that, but little just small talk things to where I should definitely just be between me and her, because at that time I didn't know any better. I hadn't been married for tons of years. And when I was married previous, I was a kid. So there was a lot of learning I had to do. And so her being straight up, the wife that she is, and you all know her personally, she don't have a timid spirit about her or anything. No. It caused some friction to where I had to grow. That's why I say that God key was important, because I had to change. Can't nobody change you. No list, no anything. You can't go out there. I don't care what kind of list you may have or whatever, but you might want that. But when you fall in love, I'm telling you, some of them things, they drop off. Once you find out, you're in love. And so Sonia, it was a lot of things I had to change within inside myself, to where that's when it started. Hey, you have to keep people out your business. I'm telling you, family, friends, everybody, you have to have that little bitty circle to where it's just your circle, and keep everybody out. Because just think about it, bro and sis, you can go out there and me and you, I can come to you with something and everything. You can get mad and everything. Everybody mad at that individual. Now, me and her, boy, we love it, dovey, boy. We kissing, we out here on a cruise and everything. We love it, dovey, and we back together. Everybody else still mad. They still feel like they done got jaded and they done got sidetracked. So you have to keep them people out of your business. And that's what Sonia and I, and you know what? I learned a lot from my wife, because she was an expert at doing that. And it was kind of weird to me. I'm thinking, well, that's just my mom, them. That's what I was used to. But no, you have to have some boundaries when you get married. It's God, me and her, and then everybody else.
Yeah, because remember I said Jay was an over-the-road truck driver. Because Jay was over-the-road truck driver, when I met him, he was an owner-operator, had his own authority, had a few trucks running up under him, and I didn't understand the trucking world. Mm-hmm. And so when he would get paid, I would call him, and I had only been married, a few months or 6 months or whatever, and every Friday I'm like, well, how much did you make this week? Oh, you got to check with mom. Next week, how much you make this week? You got to check with mom. He's talking about his mom. And I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. Why your mama know what you made before I knew? I'm your wife. And so he said, Mom, we've been doing that for years. She handles all my books and stuff. And so I called my mother-in-law and I said, respectfully, I called my mother-in-law and I said, I know you've been handling his Jay's books or whatever, because he's over the road, but I'm the wife now. And so I want you to show me how to handle the books, because I should know what he's making. Matter of fact, nobody in your family shouldn't even know what you're making. That's our business. Yes. And so it caused the division. And so as time went on, I told Jay that what we did was, from that, we made a pact, and we said, like Jay just said, nobody's getting in this circle. If they know anything, it's because we want them to know it.
Exactly.
But other than that, we learned to keep everybody out of your marriage. Everybody. Because one thing my dad had taught me a long time ago, like what Jay just said, if I get upset with him about something, and I go back and tell my sister, tell my mom and dad, I'm their family. They're going to always be cool with me, but we get back chummy, they're going to still be looking at him side-eyed, because I done went back and told them something that I should have kept inside of our household. Yep. So we tell anybody, unless you get ready to just cut them ties and you ain't going to be together, don't be going telling nobody if y'all have a little spat about this, spat about that, y'all need to talk about it amongst yourself.
That's right.
That's a great point. And like my wife was just saying,
some stories to tell
like
about that.
we really been there. And here This is real G talk, so I'm gonna keep it gangster once again and keep it gully once again, right?
Yeah.
What I don't get is when you have friends and family members who have mainly a lot of the women and some of the guys, right, that have failed relationships, not in a relationship, divorced and married 4 or 5 different times. But they're the ones that you want to turn to for advice.
Hey, man.
The only thing they can tell you is what not to do in your marriage.
That's right.
They can tell you how to sustain your marriage. So it got to that point, especially living the way I was living, right? I was getting called everything. My grandma used to say they called me everything but a child of God.
Yep.
You right? So they I was everything in the book. Now she comes from a family of 4 sisters. It's all women in her family. So, and they're tight.
My sisters packed up in a van one day and they slid the side of the van door open and jumped out on Cordell.
Yeah, they don't play them games. Man. They don't play them games. You know what I mean? So
all 3 of them. And my cousin.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
So it's been some times, and then we finally realized, like you guys realized, it's like, hey, yeah, we gotta keep people out of our.
Whatever happened to that van? That was like the family van.
Oh, I don't even know.
It was a mini van.
We gotta keep people out of our business.
My sister minivan. My sister owned a daycare. She had a daycare center and she had a van, and I told me and Cordell had this argument, and he packed up and got in that van and slid that side. It's when the door, you had to slide the door.
Yeah.
And they jumped out on him. My older sister, she still laughing about that today. She was like, what you bumped in your face, Corey? And I want to know what happened to that van. I'm going to call my sister when we get done. I know that van, let me tell you, that van became memories. That van has so many good memories. I don't know. I think Cordell and my sister would let us on her van, and then Cordell used to help her with the food program. She had a food program.
Yeah.
Whatever. But anyway, they got over the argument. It was something else. But yeah. Anyway.
So
you got some get right.
So here's the thing, Jay. I want to ask Jay this, right? When I want to go backwards for 1 second, right? You remember when I asked Jay, how did you know the Sonia was the one? Right? One of the things that I forgot to say was what I did was I went and looked at her lineage.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I went and looked at the women that she came from. Right? I sat and I talked with her grandmother. I sat and I talked with her mom.
Mm-hmm.
And I got this from my uncle. My uncle Rick has been incarcerated since I was 12 years old. So he's been locked up almost 36 years, right? 39 years. And I used to go up and see him all the time. And when I was younger, he used to always tell me a couple of things. He used to say, hey, if a woman isn't an asset, she's a liability. Meaning she has to be an asset. She has to be able to bring something to the table. And I'm not talking about monetarily. She has to be able to hold you down. So don't ever make a girl from the hood that's into hustlers and this and things like that. Don't make that your wife. Yes. And instead of trying to impregnate their body, impregnate their mind, help them to think and grow. Right. So I carried that with me. He said, always look at where a woman comes from. That's going to tell you who that woman's going to be. Right. So I went and I talked to her mom and I talked to her grandma and I saw the 2 women that she came from. And then I knew after that. Right. But just seeing that her grandmother had been married to the same man for 50 or some odd years.
56 years.
56 years.
Wow.
The only man. Her mother, same way. Her dad, Mr. Robert. Right. Mr. Robert, her dad. That's my guy. Right.
He was something else.
He was something else, right? But we're gonna be with that's for another show. But
he did a lot of extra activities.
Yeah. A lot of
but
extra.
He treated my mother well. He loved all his kids.
All his kids. I'm gonna say all his kids, right? But also I saw that she had only been with Mr. Robert. Miss Alice had only been with Mr. Robert. My mother-in-law had only been with Mr. Robert. And they was married at 16.
Yeah.
Right. And she had only been with him all that time until he, eventually they divorced and he passed.
She got divorced from him when I was 10.
So when he was 10 and then he passed. Right.
He could be 8 years.
So I looked at that and I said, man, you know, she comes from faithful, loyal women. She comes from faithful, loyal women, God-fearing women.
Spunky
Now,
women.
mind you,
Very spunky women.
here's the thing that was different with our relationship. Her and I weren't evenly yoked.
Mm.
Her and I weren't evenly yoked when we first met because I was Muslim and she wasn't at that particular time. But it's one thing to be Muslim or Christian and be religious, and then there's another thing to just have the title of that particular religion, right?
Exactly.
And that's what I was. I just had a title, you know, that I was Muslim. But nevertheless, the things me and her dating wasn't supposed to happen like that. But this is what came out of it. So, you know, Allah had its own plan for our future, our and us, right? So that's one of the things.
And back up a little bit. I had always wanted to be Muslim,
but
my mother was not having that.
Right.
And I think when I was maybe in my early 20s, I had all my girlfriends were Muslim. But my mother, my mothers and my sisters, I was always went in church, heavily in the church, and they was not having that. So for me to change my religion was like a big deal. It was a big deal. Once I converted to Islam, nobody in my family cared.
Right.
They just like, oh, like, you know, oh, it's beautiful, but
what time is it? Okay.
You know, so it was like they wasn't having it. And Cordell was like, why are your girlfriends? Why are your friends Muslim? And you're not. I'm like, my mom, my sisters, because my sister, two of my sisters are I guess you would say they're preachers. So it was like I was worried about them. My two oldest. But when I became Muslim, they didn't care.
They said she changed for the better.
Yeah, I did. I was to be something else.
Yeah. So see, we're talking right now is the warm and fluffy Khadijah, right? Y'all don't get the South Philly Monica because her name is Monica. So y'all get the warm and fluffy Khadijah. I met South Philly Monica, and I felt like I was South Philly as the time went on. You know,
she's still here.
She comes out every now and then.
Every day.
See, here's the thing, right? Now
I
got to move to the next segment real quick. But here's what I want to ask. I read something in the book and talked about agree to disagree, right? So in our household, we have what you call loud fellowshipping.
That be you. I'm just the type of person. I say to Cordell, we was talking about something the other night, and it was like laying in bed watching TV, and I was like, I just don't like it. I don't care. Like next, like we don't argue.
Yeah, now we don't argue.
I say what I gotta say. He said he gotta say,
and then we keep it moving. Like we've learned to get to that point of compromise. It took a long time to get to that point.
Yes, sir.
My wife doesn't ever want to admit when she was wrong.
I had to have it all my way.
I'm
the youngest girl, so it's like I'm the baby. So it's like, you know,
like for her to say she was wrong, it was
boy,
and hail and thunder and lightning in the summertime. Let me tell you that. That's what I say. Like
I used to be like that.
You have a better chance of drowning a fish.
When I get mad, Sonia heard me get mad the other night, last night on the phone. When I get mad, boy, you better watch it.
So now Jay, I'll let you talk. Now, Sonia, let me hear from you, Miss. Come on, sis. Now, where y'all at now with the agree to disagree, and what was the maturation period to get there?
Where we're at now is we would have some, like you said, some loud fellowshipping in the beginning of our marriage. I would say maybe the first 7 years or whatever. But you know, to the point where I would get teed off, slamming doors and going downstairs, and I'm grabbing my blanket and pillow. You know what? I tell you what, then I'm sleeping down here. And then I get mad if he don't come down there and get me to come get in the bed with him. I get mad all over again. You know, like, because Peter's like, okay, I know he's coming down here to get me. But now he just go up there and go to sleep. Right. I get even madder, right? And so I don't know what made it change or what clicked. And it's like, we don't even have arguments like that no more. You know, we may, you know, like, say, for instance, we have a date night and we're in the house and we Netflixing it or Amazon or whatever. And I like action pack. Jay like action pack, and he put on something and he'll just be flicking through it. Okay, we gonna watch this. I'm like, I don't want to watch that. And I'm like, last couple of things you watched, they wasn't good, or whatever. And they'd be like, oh, okay, babe. Well, so we have come to now, we don't have blowouts where, where he, because I can tell when he mad. If Jay called me Sonia, he mad. I know that already. If I get my full name, because it's always baby, and so, or sexy. And so if he say that, I know that he's upset. And sometimes I have come to the point now, I just like, you know what, I'm gonna pick and choose my battle. I ain't even saying that back to him. But in my mind, I'm still talking, saying stuff like, and
not just in her mind. No, boy, I'm telling you, bro. Every now and then, she still got to get a word off in there. And you know how you get.
Huh? Yeah, they can say that, hey, it's in their mind, but they must have thought they was using their inside voice.
I'm telling you, ventriloquist. I'm telling you, boy, because she still was talking. And I'd be like, man, I just say whatever. But you know what? Something like back in the day, I'm telling you, you know how she used to know how to agitate me. Because like if I say, man, I'm just tired of, well, I'm tired of this. Man, I don't know. I'm through. Well, I'm through. Repeat everything I say. And bro, I'm telling you, just to aggravate me. And I'm like, and I just say, boy, I say, Lord, man, just give me the strength, just help me to shut up, because I'm telling you, I'm for real, because it makes you so mad. And then I just sit there and then after a while, you don't, at the beginning, nobody says, okay, I'm sorry, I apologize. Well, I'm always apologize. I used to always do that. I say, well, I apologize, sweetie, even if I wasn't wrong, because I just want to clear the air. Somebody has to learn. And then maybe if I go in and clear the air, then it'll rub off after a year or two, so I'll go ahead and just clear the air. Am I right or wrong?
You said after a year or two.
I mean, well, it might not be that long, but boy, I don't recall some things. I'm still waiting. I ain't heard nothing. So we done went on to something else. But you know how it is. You agree and everybody think they're right, especially when you think you're right. Like it's been a few times where, when you think you're right, you're gonna be hog tied. You're not letting up. You're not gonna back down. And then I have to realize, okay, yeah, you're right. I was wrong on that. And I don't mind. I'll come back and say, boy, baby, you're right. Next time I'll pay a little bit more attention and I'll listen better. But I was wrong. But communication helps out a lot. It really does. And then, we might have that little spat, but then after a few minutes, nobody knows how you're gonna get it started. So you just be like, well, when you talk to your mom, how was your mom doing? You know what I'm saying? Just to open the door. You know what I'm saying, Cornell? Just to get the door open.
You gotta break the ice.
Somebody gotta break the ice.
You gotta break the ice.
And then, when you get in the bed together, like if we didn't, Jay scoot all the way over, like don't touch his foot, don't touch.
So yeah.
Boy, I don't know when you've been married, you still play them kid games sometimes, though, boy. You don't want to. You still got that your identity, like you mentioned earlier. Certain things you just not gonna let her get the last lick. It just be like, man, that girl, they're crazy.
That's a hard thing, man. She definitely really has to have the last word, unless it's like no, it's way less now. Way less now. It's like we learn to
way less. Thank you.
We learn to like. I'm at the point where it's that when I see it getting to that point as an argument, even if I know I'm right, I'm like, dude, I'm like,
I just ignore him.
Okay, right. She ignores me, and then we move on to something else. But it's funny because now we can laugh about certain things, or even if it's an argument, she'll bust out and say, nigga, stop playing with me. And then now it's something else. Now it's no longer a banner.
Exactly.
Argument. Now it's just banter, back and forth.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now it's just banter. Now it's something that's it has a funny side to it, and more of a playful nature rather than like I'm gonna go upside your head or something like that, and I gotta go sleep downstairs or sleep in my car or something like that. You know what I mean? That's how it used to be. I gotta leave the house.
I was something else.
Yeah, I gotta leave the house.
Put those up the head with a pillow. Boom. Get on out. Like I was.
Yeah.
Oh boy, you sure don't seem like it.
I had to have it.
Please
I
know
had to
that
have it my way.
we are not promoting domestic violence on this show.
I know it, boy.
Exactly.
Stop the Monica, huh?
What we're actually promoting, it's really saying, guys, we're really saying to the audience out there and everybody that's going to see this, we're saying that, hey, marriage takes work.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, real talk.
Marriage takes work. Myself and my wife have been married 22 years. Jay and Sonia have been married 20 years. And congratulations on that. And it takes a whole lot of people. Takes people in this marriage, and not just the people in the marriage, but the people around, like your kids and everyone. It takes everyone,
everybody,
to be able to, to be able to come together, because we have a family, right? We got grandkids, and how you perceive yourself as mom and pop and grandmom and grandpa is going to resonate to those children. So you want to be able to have that loving atmosphere. Hey, Jay. You want to be able to have that loving atmosphere, right?
Amen.
This is the segment of the show in the last couple minutes was, and I always say, this is Real G Talk. And today, the G stands for, and I'm going to say grown.
Grown.
Marriage is grown folks' business. You hear me?
That's right.
That's right.
You got to be a grown man and a grown woman.
Yes.
To be married this long. It's grown folks' business.
That's right.
So y'all from Atlanta, y'all remember the movie ATL, right?
Yeah.
And you remember when he rolled up on little Evan Ross and he said, boy, where you been? He said, what I tell you? It's a grown man business. This grown man business, this grown woman business here. So
it is, bro.
G stands for grown today. And what I can say is that, from reading your book, I can see how much that you and Jay have grown together to love each other more and more and more and more and more and more every year, and that's to be commended. You know what I mean? Myself, my wife, like we are, like you guys are truly in love. Myself, my wife, we're truly in love. And some of these keys in your book are so essential for a couple to just follow. It's simple. I got a friend, and he's in another company, and he does very well in his other company, right? And we were on the phone the other day, we FaceTime, and he said, I said, man, give me something. Now he's younger than me. He's my young boy, right? I said, give me something, man. He said, man, one thing I can tell you, man, simplicity. Keep it simple.
That's
it. Don't want to complicate things. Keep it simple. In our household, we have this thing, like, even if an argument is occurring, or she doesn't allow me to talk to her when she's upset. I don't allow her to talk to me when I'm upset. We separate and we come back when cooler heads prevail.
There you go.
So it's some things like you have to compromise. You have to really be able to, and I see that for the book. And for me, knowing you guys, man, I know how much you guys love each other.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like genuine love.
It's nice to see couples in love.
Right. Because I know y'all see him and we see him, and I ain't gonna lie. We ain't gonna lie.
Oh, the game that we play.
The game we play. We play. My wife and I, we look at couples like,
do you think she love him?
She love him.
We say that too.
Yep, we sure do. Yeah. Say the same thing.
Yep. Because you can tell there's no chemistry. You could just tell.
There's no tension. You know what I mean? That chivalry that Jay and I may have, that chivalry is fleeting. Even in our age, it's fleeting. You know what I mean? Because men our age that are maybe not married and maybe single, they might be out there and they might be dealing with a lot of younger women. They're dealing with a lot of younger women. So it's refreshing to see couples like you and Jay. Sonia, like
we appreciate it, and you guys likewise. Absolutely. We definitely admire what you guys have.
And so what I would like to do is I would like to just always, make sure that whenever anybody's on Real G Talk, that they're a model for something. They're a model for something, right? Because it's Real G Talk, and that G doesn't always stand for gangster. That G can stand for growth. Like today, the G was for grown. It's grown folks' business right here. Marriage, grown folks' business. This ain't no play toy. We're not playing house.
That's right.
This for grown folks. If you're not grown, sit your little ass on the sideline somewhere.
There you go. That's right.
This ain't for you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you're thinking about getting married again, you're divorced, you're thinking about getting married again, or you're engaged, I suggest you do one thing. Go and purchase this book. Where can they purchase your book at, Jay and Sonia?
If they want a signed autograph copy with a really beautiful bookmarker, they can purchase it directly from us and we'll ship it directly to you. And they could do it for $23, with the shipping. That includes shipping, I meant. And they could do Cash App, which is $, and I'm gonna put it in the notes afterwards. $SONIA ATCHISON. That's if they want to do Cash App. If they want to do Zelle, they can do 678-571-6464, or they can do PayPal. If they do PayPal, that's JAY, the letter N is in Nancy, SONIA 97@gmail.com.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, y'all heard all the information. Go and pick this book up. When I tell you it's an easy read, I'm gonna tell you how fast I read it. I went to the bathroom after drinking some ISO tea. I read half the book. When I got out of the bathroom, I laid down on the bed and I read the other half of the book. And I was done in about an hour and 15 minutes.
Easy read.
Yeah.
I was reading the book, and Cordell wanted to talk to me about the dumb game. I said, I'm reading the book. I'm reading Jay and Sonia's book. Leave me alone.
Oh, we really love and appreciate you guys.
Thank y'all for the love and support.
Thanks for the love and support. We really appreciate it. You know we got mad love for one another.
Yes, absolutely. And I can't wait to come to the ATL, come visit you guys. I plan on getting there in the summertime.
Okay, good. Come on down.
Awesome.
Plan on coming down in the summertime. We got some major things coming up. I know you guys are doing your thing back with TLC, so I'm applauding that. I hated to see y'all, not with us for a couple of weeks, but I'm glad you guys are back. I got my
brain cramp.
So all right. So now here's promotion and more plugs. And what I like to do also is not only do I feature up and coming new artists on my platform, and I also feature entrepreneurs. And today's feature is going to be my wife. Why don't you tell them what you got going on, baby?
So I have a book coming out for children. For those who don't know,
congratulations.
It's always been my dream to write a children's book, but I'm starting out with a children's skills book first. And I have a book coming out for children ages 4 to 6. It's a workbook, and it's called I Can Write. So it's a workbook to prepare children with learning how to do penmanship, because penmanship is lost in school. Book is about supporting their language and literacy experiences. So it should be coming out in the next couple of days.
Absolutely.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah. So it's going to be coming out soon.
Well, we'll definitely look forward to it.
Yeah.
So
that's important.
So listen, guys, it's come to that time, and we're going to end Real G Talk. And like I always say, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you to my special guest, Jay and Sonia Atchison, for being so gracious and spending this hour with us. And hey, this is just the beginning of what's going to go on in Real G Talk, and the amount of conversations we have when this becomes a bestseller, and and I'm on a larger platform. We're going to have this conversation again, and then we're going to
that's right.
Some leather couches, and I'm gonna say, "Hey Jay, you remember what we said?" Right. So listen,
that's right.
We talk, guys. We're real G's, and when I say real G's, I'm sitting before two of the real G's right there. Jay and Sonia Atchison. Real G's talk about motivation, elevation, coming from humble beginnings, and abundance never ending. And listen, guys, if you're a star doesn't have to be taught how to shine. That comes naturally. So all you guys, you're stars out there. Keep shining. So I'm signing off for Real G Talk. Jay and Sonia, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'll talk to y'all next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Peace.
Okay, thank you.
Love you guys.
Love you too.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.